Welcome to my presentation on mobile produce markets for SNAP participants, titled Innovation to Reduce Food Insecurity. My name is Carrie Donnelly, and this is my capstone presentation for my Masters of Applied Nutrition program at the University of New England. The objectives before we begin include a brief discussion of food insecurity in the United States, an overview of the systematic review I conducted along with significant findings, discussion of the key informant interviews that provided supporting qualitative data, and then future recommendations. Food insecurity is defined by the United States Department of Agriculture as the lack of readily available, safe, and nutritionally adequate foods, and the key is they are obtained in socially acceptable ways. In 2018, our national level of food insecurity was around 11%. However, food insecurity predominantly impacts low-income individuals and is reflective of socioeconomic trends. So based on the current climate of our country, socioeconomically, we have seen a drastic rise over the past year in food insecurity. Preliminary survey data conducted in the state of Vermont to assess the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on food insecurity found self-reported rates as high as 25%. However, a national survey from mid-March to assess household rates of food insecurity found it almost as high as 44% in low-income households. This drastic rise in food insecurity has actually coincided with a rising enrollment in the USDA SNAP program. So this is a federal program that provides nutrition assistance based on income eligibility, and it serves about 40 million Americans. During the past year, we have seen an increase in enrollment nationally around 19% from February to June 2020, and in Maine, this was upwards of 9%. So the USDA SNAP program allows participants the freedom to purchase what they desire for the most part with their benefits. However, we can implement systems to promote more health-positive purchasing. One common intervention that's been looked at is farmers markets. And this has been viewed by SNAP participants as a positive shopping experience, a chance to build community and support local economy while getting some quality fresh foods. However, significant barriers have been reported by SNAP participants to access farmers markets, including lack of transportation, limited hours of operation, and cost was the greatest issue. Additionally, farmers markets are often held in affluent neighborhoods with no public transportation, making it harder for SNAP participants to access them. However, mobile produce markets can be dispatched in the areas of greatest need, and this could eliminate common barriers that SNAP participants list towards attending farmers markets. Additionally, this is an adaptable intervention that could be changed to fit our increasingly contactless online world. This led me to my research question, which is to determine, does the use of mobile produce markets increase fruit and vegetable intake in SNAP participants compared to participants that do not utilize mobile produce markets? To answer this question, I conducted a systematic review. I chose to use fruit and vegetable intake as my measure of food insecurity, and I conducted a review based on the PRISMA framework, which is seen to the right. So I started with a search of the major public health databases, including PubMed, ProQuest, Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and Agricola. I included the key phrases mobile market, mobile produce market, mobile farmers market, and mobile market, food in all three databases. I searched for articles after 2009, and I eliminated those without full text. So this, as well as 4 items from gray literature, came to a total of 1,003 records that I further screened. Next, I eliminated them based on the criteria that they must be primary research, they must include an adult population, and they must include SNAP must be accepted in these interventions, so that limited studies to the United States. And finally, this led to 13 studies that were included in the systematic review. All studies utilized both quantitative and qualitative methods, and I analyzed based on fruit and vegetable purchasing amount in dollars, SNAP participation rate and purchasing amounts, including dollars and percent of purchases. I assessed changes in fruit and vegetable intake in servings per day and cups per day, as well as looking at participant perceptions and attitudes. It can be concluded after this review that mobile produce markets have a moderate, significant impact on fruit and vegetable intake of SNAP participants. There was a statistically significant, with a p-value of less than or equal to 0.05, increase on intake in SNAP participants in 9 out of 13 of these studies reviewed. Additionally, in 3 of the studies reviewed, there was a significant increase by upwards of half a cup per day in the intervention group, and this was paired with a decrease in the control group who were not participating in the intervention, and this was upwards of a serving per day decrease in produce consumption. 4 remaining studies did not show significant trends, but they did offer additional data to support the use of MPM interventions. Cost was the most significantly reported barrier towards purchasing fresh produce, and this was actually reduced by utilization of MPM programs, as they had a 70% price acceptability rate and a 98% satisfaction rate by SNAP participants. Additionally, there was a dose-response effect, so the greater the attendance, the greater the intake. This was upwards of 2.1 cups per day in the most frequent attendees. Finally, there were location-based differences. So depending on the site chosen to dispatch the MPM unit, there were higher or lower SNAP participation rates. There were greater SNAP use in areas central to community services and public transportation, as well as higher SNAP use in the predominantly family sites compared to elderly sites. So this research was assessed using the quality criteria checklist, and it should be noted that there's further research is needed because data is of varying quality. Most of these studies utilize self-reported survey methods, which could be room for potential bias in participants, as well as only 2 utilize randomized and controlled trials. Most study was conducted through community partnerships and received funding directly from the program to be evaluated, which could also be a source of bias. And convenient sampling was used, so the population demographics were not that diverse, and studies were predominantly women, upwards of 96%, and there was a minimal male participation rate in each study. And finally, most MPM models utilized reduced cost produce, which was very important to the success of the program. So this meant that SNAP dollars were incentivized and were slightly below supermarket prices. Additionally, many offered SNAP participants money to be worth twice as much. So the amount of fruit and vegetables purchased in dollar amounts could actually be double in SNAP participants compared to non-SNAP participants based on these incentivized benefits. So mobile produce markets are emerging interventions with significant potential to reduce food insecurity. They could also be used as a site of a multi-component intervention, as many of these studies provided nutrition education or recipe exchanges, and they could be a site for SNAP enrollment. And finally, they could be integrated with an online ordering platform as a way to adapt them to this contactless society that we're shifting towards. And this could further expand the reach and distribution of local farms. So, this shift towards SNAP being allowed online was piloted in only 5 states prior to the pandemic, and that is seen in this image from the Journal of Urban Health. Those are the 5 striped states. However, the USDA rapidly expanded and rolled out this pilot program over the past couple months, and as of October 2020, 46 states and Washington, D.C. are participating. It has the potential to reach 90% of SNAP participants, but Amazon and Walmart are the only options offered in 40 states, the only options offered in 40 states, and they are accepted in all states. So this highlights the need for regional options to diversify our food system. 4 states are not participating yet, and this includes Alaska, Montana, Louisiana, and my home state and population of interest, really, and that is Maine. So this led me to my qualitative research question, which was to explore the feasibility of a mobile market program combined with an online SNAP eligible market platform. And this could be used to create regional, sustainable, and equitable food systems. I wanted to look at similar existing programs in the New England area. However, I found that mobile produce markets are still very limited in Maine. I only found one that exists, and it was closed in the off-season. Therefore, I shifted towards identifying these sort of new models that utilize a virtual marketplace paired with a produce delivery service. So they're still dispatched in areas where there is the greatest need. The only difference is consumers aren't coming and browsing the produce in person, they're just browsing it online before purchasing. So this led me to identify 2 key informants in my area that are created and implemented similar systems. The first one is the Unity Farm Drop from Unity, Maine, and this is a network of 12 farms with 4 different drop-off locations that is farmer run. I interviewed a farmer and the man that runs this program named Kari. And then Local Maverick, which has the Maverick Market platform. That's in Burlington, Vermont, which I chose because it's a similar sort of rural population base as we have here in Maine. And I interviewed Ryan, who is the creator and founder, I believe, of this, and he has a marketplace full of 25 local vendors. They deliver to 8 areas, and then they have 1 weekly central pickup location. Both of their websites are on this slide. They're very cool programs, so I suggest checking them out. So I interviewed each key informant for about 30 minutes, and then I transcribed and coded interviews to group them by similar themes. So I found 4 similar themes and then future recommendations. The first theme is that these models differ in terms of logistic operations and distribution. And we need to find a distribution model that is scalable and feasible and also affordable. So as the Unity Farm said, the unique thing is that they, in central Maine, they're equidistant from the population centers. So farmers come in from outlying areas into Unity. They do a big efficient pack out, and then the farmers return to their areas where participants can pick up the produce. So that has the farmers doing all the work when it comes to the distribution, and it's really of no cost besides just the cost of driving to go to this weekly ordering pack system. And as far as Maverick Market, they operate a little differently and they run the distribution and delivery themselves, but they're also looking at just being a model with local farms to be the ordering tool, where it's a similar idea. You order everything on one site and then the farms run the orders and the pickups. This could be scaled up nationally by allowing shoppers to select their region and order from what's locally available. So that means there's the potential for these programs to be scaled up statewide or regionally. As Kari from Unity Farms said, in terms of scalability, right now they have the ability to serve small markets efficiently because farmers have no cost in doing an order for a drop that only has 5 orders because they're already coming to the central location to fulfill the rest of their orders, and then they can just send that product on the way with the farmer in that location. So this allows them to, based on farm participation, this model is very inexpensive. However, one thing they've found is when it comes to scaling up these programs, they don't want to dilute the market. So they need to get the customer base before they expand the farms. So keeping overhead and distribution cost down is essential to feasibility. As we discovered in the systematic review, most of these interventions had some sort of grant funding and they didn't last long after the funding ran out. So as any business, keeping the cost down is essential for the longevity of these services. When it comes to Unity Farm, they don't have any facility, so that cuts the cost. They have a local nonprofit that lets them use their hall for free, and that's where they prepare the weekly orders. And then, like I said, the farmers do all the work. So there's no cost for a truck, there's no cost for refrigeration units or any of that. He says it's a simple, sustainable model. You sell a product and you get paid for it. When it comes to the local Maverick model, this does include a site cost, staff, and delivery, but they offer some premium local products in addition to their produce, so this could contribute to their profit. They want to increase their average order value and make this a viable business, and that could be through utilizing customers that do have a higher income. Next, as we saw in the systematic review, reduced cost produce was essential towards the success of these programs. So when it comes to these market platforms, the issue is, as Kari said, he's a farmer, and how do they get food to the people that need it without destroying the way that they in turn make a living? So severely discounting their produce just isn't really feasible right now for them without accepting SNAP benefits. So Local Maverick also came up with some workarounds for this. And like I said, they want to start building their business with those that have a higher disposable income and then potentially introduce a sliding scale fee where they have it at cost and people can purchase it as they need. And that could expand their clientele. Additionally, Unity Farm thought about offering special deals. And this could cut down on food waste. So if a farmer has a ton of crop that they can't utilize, and it would probably just be composted because of their saturated market, then this could be put in sort of a specialty farm on the website that you can only access with your SNAP benefits, and the price would be severely reduced. So if they have, say, extra tomatoes that they sell for $3 a pound, and they have a surplus of them, they could be put in the SNAP farm for $1 a pound, and that way they're not saturating their retail market and losing the typical price that they get, but they can reduce food waste and provide it to the people with the greater need. Additionally, Local Maverick said with their delivery, it's a flat $5 delivery fee right now, and if they were to include SNAP purchases, then they would waive the delivery fee for any SNAP participants, and they would hopefully be able to incentivize SNAP purchases with the Vermont 3 Squares program and the main harvest bucks, which either triple or double the spending power of SNAP dollars. Next, the clientele. So as mentioned, these services don't seem to be utilized yet by the populations with the greatest need. As Kari said, those that are on SNAP, they're not his customers. They're judicious with their food dollars, and they're not buying premium produce right now from farmers markets, especially in these times. However, Local Maverick said it's about a 50-50 split where they do have upper and middle class with a larger disposable income, but then they also get some people that love supporting local products and local businesses and may stretch their money a little more to be conscious with their spending. So, this leads to the third and final theme, and that is challenges that arise with SNAP. Currently, there needs to be an easier SNAP eligibility process. In Vermont, they did at least roll out the online ordering system as part of the pilot, but again, it was just Amazon and Walmart. In order to get a small business or farm piloted in this program, it's extremely slow and bureaucratic, as Local Maverick said, and to be set up under all the SNAP guidelines is kind of ridiculous. His idea is to target the people that can afford the products, build the brand, create demand, build something so they can get in front of legislators and say they want to be involved in the program. It needs to be a collective effort. You need to support local businesses, and we need to get access to the people that actually need the access. Additionally, Kari says that he has been pressuring anyone that's connected to the State House or Department of Agriculture to even get enrolled in the SNAP pilot program for online purchasing, which Maine has yet to do. In the meantime, however, both of them have decided they can use creative workarounds to accommodate SNAP purchases. For instance, at the checkout on the website, they could have a SNAP option that pretty much acts like a cash transaction. And then when they come to the drop or the pickup location, they can pay for it with SNAP then. So he's working within his model as to how to utilize all these systems, how to collect harvest bucks to incentivize SNAP dollars, how to collect SNAP benefits online, and how to make use of everything that somebody grows. And Local Maverick also agreed this click and collect workaround is possible, but right now it's not necessarily aligned with their contactless method by having to take payments on site. But that is a plan B if the SNAP pilot program is taking too long or it doesn't work out. In terms of future recommendations, both key informants agree that there is significant room for improvement in terms of these services and our food system as a whole, as you can see by their quotes. Greater advocacy is needed for the expansion of SNAP eligible services in order to increase access for the populations with the greatest need. As Local Maverick said, we need to make it easier for people to support, care about, and access quality local food. As they expand, their concept is to open hubs potentially in different regions across the U.S., and this could allow them to work with different state agencies to reach more people and understand people's purchasing, what they want, and how to serve these local microeconomies. So a multi-level approach is necessary to merge agriculture, technology, community, and government. The recently introduced Expanding SNAP Options Act addressed our limited market and rising food insecurity by advocating for funding to create a virtual ordering portal across all participants, states, and pair this with a USDA Technical Assistance Center to assist smaller retailers and farms with online purchasing. So these are the kind of programs that we need in order to level the playing field and facilitate a more sustainable food system. In conclusion, we need to design innovative, integrated food systems to reduce the drastically rising rates of food insecurity, and we need to do this in a sustainable and health-positive manner for our population and for our planet. Thank you for your time and for watching my presentation today, and these are my references.